Greetings everyone, Arcimedes here, and welcome back to another Brickfield Lego video. And today, we're doing an HD reshoot of the video, Marvelous Miraculous Micropins, in the Making Connections series. Hopefully this time, a little clearer, less blurry, and making more sense. So, let's take a look, shall we? Micropins, you say. Just what is a micropin? Well, all of you have actually seen one, I'm pretty sure. If any of you have a piece like this, fire. Now, of course, this is an incredibly fun piece to use, especially if you want to burn down a building, or give a dragon fire breath, or make a flamethrower, you know what I mean. However, you've probably noticed that at the bottom, there are these little pin things, these little protrusions right there, and right there. And sometimes they stop the flame from going in too deep if you're placing it in a normal tube like this in a model. However, right, those pins have another purpose. Now, I'd like to show you another important piece of this flame. Now, as I learned of this originally from this exact technique, I was messing around with my flame pieces, and I decided to put one of those tiny little pins inside one of the pieces on the flame here. The first one didn't work, the second one didn't hold, nor did the fourth one. But the third one clipped on, like this, making a nice semi-stable connection, as you can see. I was intrigued by this, and thus brought out all my flames and put them together in this nice little arch you see here. Really want to use it in a model sometime, just because it looks so cool. However, I really thought that this might have just been an exception, a one-time use. After all, I thought that that pin was originally used to attach the fire into one of these old dragons' mouths. There's a little hole in there that you can fit it into, as you can see. Again, looking further, I found a few more options. For example, in these torch pieces, I found, first, this particular fire piece, which has another little micropin beneath it, and these torch spyglass pieces, which have a micro hole in it. Those two fit together to hold that flame piece in position more sturdily. Beginning to realize that this was a prevalent form of connection in a lot of LEGO models, or at least an extra secret in some of them, I began to find more instances of these. For example, there are these green spiky plant pieces. They were originally used to hold flowers, like this, but they also can hold all other pieces with the micro hole connector. Now, in terms of the pieces that actually have micro pins on them, the ones that I've found as a more common piece are these bushes, the fire pieces, and this little feather for a cat. There's a much wider variety, however, of micro hole pieces. So I already said the spyglasses have a micro hole. Now also, this sextant has two of them. One on the side and one on the back. And this one I think can be used. I can imagine using that as some sort of greebling element, especially with some sort of fire. The turkey leg has a micropin on the back to attach it to the main turkey piece, but one could possibly use it for another kind of micropin. Bad robot arms have a small pinhole right there. Nozzles possibly do. At least the old school ones have this little micro hole on there. Now, this one I'm not as positive about. I think it may just be a detail and not be a micro pinhole. However, in a pinch, if you're careful and want to push your LEGO pieces to the limit, they can actually fit in here. And once again, I think this would be a great use of micropins to attach some fire. Next, the new school nozzles definitely have a micropin hole on the back of them. And this will work very nicely for a similar purpose to the one that I expressed previously. The T-bar also has micro holes, as one might suspect. Finally, we have the fruits. Now, I think every kind of LEGO food, or at least most of them, have a micro hole of some kind. For example, this apple, or these cherries here, have micro holes in the back. In fact, I made this little bush of cherries using the bush and the cherry pieces, or this little apple dispenser right here. I think these are kind of cute, and I think this might be a decent use for some kind of natural detail in a model. We also have these little florets, which also have a micro hole in the center. Now, in some ways, I think these little florets may be the best use for these because they're a direct stud-on-stud connection. So if you would want to put a flame or one of these little detail-y pieces, like the feather here, into the side of a model, but without taking up all the space of some kind of tube to hold the outside of the micro pin, instead you can use these florets, which provide something taking the flame or whatever other detail much closer to the model. So, in short, those are micropins. Now, I listed a few uses for them, but I think you can find so many more. I also have only made an example of just a few with micropins or micro holes. So thus, if you do a little more digging and find other options, please let me know. They're very interesting, and I think they could be used to really improve some light, tiny greebling in a model. Also, I just want to, as a side note, make a quick apology. As you can probably tell, I have a little bit of a cold. I'm all stuffed up, so if this video sounds a little bad, well, I apologize. It's the cold season's fault. I honestly don't know what's worse, being all stuffed up or taking decongestants and feeling like a zombie for the rest of the day. But I digress. Well, ladies and gentlemen, those are micropins, now in stunning HD. If you like this video, please comment, rate, or subscribe. If you didn't like this video, still, please comment, rate, and subscribe. Want to hear what you have to say would make my video, this channel, or my use of micropins different and better. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you all farewell. My name is Arcimedes36, and I'll see you next Sunday.